is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. But we've actually studied this scripture, and we found out that the kingdom of heaven is the third grade of soul. The kingdom of heaven is the stable soul, okay, that is attached to God. So the kingdom of heaven is a man traveling into a far country. He's coming from the world of creation. He's coming from kingdom, okay, the 10th sephira of heaven, which is the world of creation where Adam is being formed, and he's traveling into a far country, which is this world of action. And he called his own servants, and those are the human beings, okay, that, I don't know if that's the human beings or the primordial kings, I'm not sure, and he delivered, I guess the servants of Israel, okay, the natural man Israel, and delivered unto them his goods. What goods did he deliver unto them? He delivered the third grade of soul to them. So when Jesus was walking around saying the kingdom of heaven is coming, and John was walking around saying the kingdom of heaven was coming, he was saying that stable intellectual soul is becoming available to national Israel, which will stabilize your personal soul and help you to not sin. It will instruct you and reconnect you to God. So that's what his goods are. It's the stable soul. Verse 15. And unto one he gave 5 talents, and unto 2, and to another 1, and to every man according to his several ability. Brethren, we're not all the same. We're not all the same. We're not all equally intelligent. We're not all equally spiritually strong. We're not all not equally mentally and emotionally and spiritually strong. We're not all the same. So he didn't, and when it says he gave talents, it's talking about ministry. He didn't give a ministry like I have to someone that's not capable of it. So he gave each to his several ability, and straightway he took his journey. He left. He left us with the third grade of soul. That's what happened to me. Jehovah Elohim visited me as I was driving my car. I'm the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. He dumped the third soul on me and he left. Third grade of soul on me and he left. Well, I thought you had a primordial king, Sheila. Well, I must have. I don't understand the whole thing. He dumped something on me and he left. Well, that was the primordial king that spoke to me and got inside of me. He didn't come to me as Jesus. He did not come to me as the last Adam. He came to me as the God of Israel. So I must have had the second Adam, which had been actualized in Israel. That's a good question. If I had the second Adam, which had been actualized in Israel, what did I get when he revealed himself to me? I must have gotten Jesus on top of it. I must have gotten the last Adam. This measure of Christ, and then it had to grow up in me until there I am today. So I guess that's what happened. I got a drop of his blood. I got his blood, that's what I got. The God of Israel gave me a drop of Jesus' blood. So, verse 17, and likewise he that had received, verse 16, then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same and made them other 5 talents. He used his ministry and he experienced spiritual growth. And likewise he that had received 2, or a ministry that of level 2, he also practiced his ministry and he experienced spiritual growth. But he that had received 1, he that received a small ministry, maybe it was the ministry of helps. I was in a church once when the pastor gave a whole exhortation on how desperate the ministry was in need of members of the congregation who would be engaged in the ministry of helps. He needed help in the ministry. He needed someone to clean the church. He needed someone to help him in the office on a volunteer basis. And after the whole exhortation, he asked everyone, what ministry do you want? And not one person offered the ministry of helps. They all wanted to be preachers, apostles, pastors. But he that received one went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. He didn't, the one that was called to the ministry of helps, he did not want to clean the bathrooms. He didn't want to do it. Verse 19. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them. Well, after a long time, that's a long time by human time, the Lord showed up and he came to see what kind of spiritual growth had manifested. And so he that received 5 talents came and brought the other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. And his Lord said to him, Well done, thy good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. And the joy of the Lord, it's the kingdom of heaven. Enter into the stable intellectual soul. Okay? Here, receive it. We enter into or join with the stable intellectual soul called Adam that's joined to Elohim. That's the joy. That's the joy. It comes from the spirit of life. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou dwellest unto me, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents besides them. And his Lord said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent, the one that was called to the ministry of helps, said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. Okay, so you're not subject to the sowing and reaping judgment. And I was afraid, and went and hid the talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. Didn't want to clean the toilets, sorry. Didn't want to do it. Verse 26. His Lord answered and said unto him, he didn't want to cast demons. He didn't want to cast demons out of the prostitutes and the drug addicts, you know. He didn't want to see the blood, you know. Did I ever tell you my testimony, how the Lord sent me to minister to someone? I don't know what her story was, but this big glob of blood came up on her lip. You know, she had some kind of blood curses on her. I went. Did I ever tell you that testimony? I went and I prayed for her, but I was revolted by it. And then it was a camp revival, a camp meeting. And the next day, I was in the camp revival. I was always in the first row. And I wanted to leave. I almost never left early. Like, it was really rare for me to leave early. For some reason, I was leaving early that day. And the pastor came down off the pulpit. I was right there in the first row. And he said, where are you going? And I said, well, I guess I could stay. And he said, there's someone I want you to pray for. I said, okay. I followed him all the way around to the other side of the camp meeting. And there was that woman with the big glob of blood on her lip. I had to pray for her again. Now, verse 27, now oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with usury. That's with an interest that is too high. Take therefore the talent from him and give it unto him. Well, I guess Jesus wasn't asking him to say what usury means to get interest. And that thou therefore oughtest to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with interest. Take therefore the talent from him and give it to him which has 10 talents. And to every one that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. So you have to use what you have or you lose it. Use it or you lose it. And cast ye the unprofitable servant. Now this, Jesus is talking to the Israelites. He's talking to the Jews at this point. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And this outer darkness simply means that you're still in this world, okay, but you're spiritually cast into a place where you have no contact with the Spirit of God at all. You go into spiritual and mental darkness, but it's spiritual darkness mostly.